Awesome, welcome in. We are actually going to start in the tabletop position. So you can face whatever direction you like. So coming into hands and knees. Fingertips spread nice and wide, toes unrolled. Take your knees just slightly wider than the outer hip, just enough for you to notice that they're wider, but maybe not necessarily to an outside eye. Awesome. And then take your hands about 1 hand's length further forward than your shoulders. Fingertips again nice and wide. Try to rotate the folds of the elbows to face forward towards your fingertips. So there's an arm rotation happening there. And then neutral the pelvis. That means you're going to pick up your belly and pick up your front rib cage. Inhale, slide forward so that your shoulders now are over your wrists. You're not dropping the pelvis down, you're just sliding the shoulders forward. And then as you exhale, keeping your back like a coffee table, slowly start to sit back as far as you can, keeping your hands in place and keeping your pelvis from tucking or dropping. Finish out that exhalation completely. And then inhale, mindfully float yourself up, keeping a strong lower belly. Shift yourself forward until your shoulders are over your wrists. Awesome. And then exhaling, lower belly is strong. Feel length through the underarm, length all the way into the tailbone. Again, finish that exhalation completely. And then inhale, rising up, nice and steady. So you're going to do this several more rounds. Inhale when you're coming forward, and exhale when you're sitting back. And depending on how your body is receiving the movement, you can slide your hands just a hair further forward or a hair further back, depending. But we want to keep the hands planted and keep the pelvis, especially when you sit back, from tucking under or the belly from dropping out, because that means the tightness is taking over and we're just kind of sitting back then. I want you to sit back with purpose, and I want there to be some length happening as you move back, nice and slow. It's not just a, okay, my hips are to the heels, that's easy. No, there's a lot more to it than that. I want you to think about all the fibers in between your wrists and your hips that are stretching and elongating and immobilizing. There's movement and then there's mindful movement. I want you to be mindful of your movement this morning. And when your mind wanders away, come back. And keep coming back. The mind can only judge a situation based on our past experiences and observations. So that means that sometimes the mind isn't always the best guide. That's where our breath comes in. That's where the sensations in our body comes in. Let's try about 3 more. As we continue to move this way, we're trying to get in deep into the body in a very subtle way. And then as you come back up to tabletop, realign your knees so that they're hips distance. So just kind of bring them in a little bit. And now you're going to take your right knee, I'll do the same as you, and you're going to bring it forward about, let's say, 3 inches, 4 inches. So one knee is further forward than the other. It's not big, okay? It's not a really dramatic move. It's just a couple of inches. Awesome. Same thing again. Hands are further forward of the shoulders. Inhale when you come forward. You're probably not going to come all the way because that leg is a little off. But exhale, still keeping your pelvis neutral. Sit back towards the heels and notice now how it feels just a little bit different through the hips. And then inhale, rising back up again. So play with where those hands need to be. But now what we're trying to do is get into the socket of the hip. Exhale, sitting back. You should feel some good length through the lower back, maybe more on the left side than on the right side. One of the many things yoga has taught me is that the art of doing and the art of being are very different. Even though we come to yoga, we still may have the mentality of, I need to be doing. And so our mind sets us up for this need for big dramatic postures or fast movement or intensity, and those things are all good and great, and there is a place for them. But the idea of being means that we are alert in our bodies to the smallest sensations and the largest sensations. So we're going to do about 2 more here. We're going for a minute. And then after your last one coming up here, all you're going to do is switch your knees. So take that front knee back, 2 to 3, 4 inches, and then bring the other knee up. Pelvis is still trying to be squared forward, hands are still plugged in. Inhale when you slide forward a bit, exhale when you work to sit back. Watch what your pelvis is doing. Feel for what your hips are doing. Think about balancing the glass of water on your sacrum. That's kind of way down by your pants. So exhale when you're sitting back, lower belly is strong. Feel the length through the underarm. And then inhale when you slide back up again. So again, here we're trying to focus on the socket of the hip, where the actual leg bone goes up and in. Inhale when you rise, and exhale when you float back. If it's helpful, just close your eyes. It's just you and your breath. After a while, the movement kind of takes care of itself, and it's just you breathing. A wise friend once told me, Hope, if you want to make big changes in your life, change the small things. So change the small things. Let's see if we can get about 2 or 3 more in here. If your mind is floated away from your body, come back. That's always a choice you have. You have the choice to come back to your mat mindfully. It may not be easy, the mind may say it's bored or restless, agitated, but you still can come back. And then after that last one, resituate yourself in tabletop. Curl the toes under, walk your hands back, lift your knees. Let's come into low heel squat. Knees lift off the floor. Please, there's no knees here in the body. Sit back into your heels, but not dropping the feet flat to the floor. So as you let the heels drop, wiggle your sitting bones. So physically wiggle your booty to kind of move those bones a little bit deeper into your muscle. And then open the knees enough to drop the chest. Reach your arms, lower your head, sit back into your hips and heels. So what I call low heel squat, or Achilles stretch, which is the back of the ankle. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. As your arms reach forward and your hips sit back, try to stretch as though your shirt was super tucked in tight into the back of your pants. Think about trying to breathe and reach the arms to untuck that really, really tight tucked fabric. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Inhale, slide your hands in and lengthen your legs. Come into a modest forward bend. Feel free, you do not have to push the legs straight. Feel free to stay with more of a bent knee. Drape the torso. Move the head yes a few times. And then move the head no a few times. Release the neck completely. Take your hands behind the back of the head now and coil your chin into the chest, stretching the back of the neck, maybe all the way down to the sit bones. So as you gently draw the head in, feel the shoulders spread out and kind of pull up away from the head as you draw the head in, kind of like making a pinwheel cookie. Now keep the hands behind the head, bend your knees even more, roll yourself up to standing, keeping the chin at the chest, stretch the back of the neck. So as you roll up tall, chin is still at the chest, back body is broadening, shoulders are dropping, Resist the head back into the hands as you stretch through the back of the neck. That stretch may continue all the way down between the shoulder blades. As you breathe deeply, try and experiment slightly turning the head to the right, very slowly and mindfully, and slightly turning the head to the left, and notice if that changes the sensation in your body. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Now release the hands to the sides. Slowly roll the head the rest of the way up. Open your mouth on the way, so let your jaw drop like you're shocked about something. And now keep the mouth open as you tip the head back very kindly and mindfully. Once the head is as far back as it can go, close your mouth and try to push your bottom jaw forward like you have an underbite. As though you're trying to reach your bottom chin and teeth up towards the ceiling. Relax the shoulders. And then restack the head. Nice. Step forward with the right foot. I'm going to do left. And then line up the outer edges of the feet with the outer edge of the mat. Modest stride. So you probably step forward to a stride that's appropriate for you. Awesome. That's where you're going to be. Line up the outer edges of the feet with the outer edge of the mat. Look at that back foot twice, because sometimes the heel is sunk in and you don't even realize it. And the feet are on 2 water skis, not 1. So your feet are hips distance. Awesome. Take your hands to your hips and square your hips forward. Now bend the front knee. Keeping the pelvis stacked, relax your front ribs. Back heel stays glued to the floor. Exhale, bend the back knee. And then inhale, re-lengthen again. As you bend the knee, keep the heel anchored to the ground. So if your stride is too long and the knee doesn't have any give, shorten it up. Awesome. So exhale when you bend. And inhale when you lengthen. So I want you to hold that bend for about 3 counts. That way we can actually get into that really thick fibrous tissue in the Achilles tendon, which is back behind the ankle. We're going to actually keep this heel out even. There you go. So now when you go, is that going to change the stretch a little bit? Good. So most of us have a natural turnout due to more restriction through the outer hip. So just that conscious action of bringing that foot forward, we again can start to reroute our tissues. It's like cutting trails into a big field. And you always do the same trail over and over and over again, and you find out, oh, this is not leading where I want to go. So then you start to cut a new one. It's kind of what we try to do on the mat here. Make new trails. Now exhale, let's just hold this bend. So inhale through the nose. If you look down at your knee is trying to go forward. It's not sinking inward. Inhale through the nose, just hold that. Hold 3, hold 2, hold 1. Lengthen the legs and step back. Awesome, let's try the opposite side. Step forward. So casual stride, doesn't have to be super big. Check the outer edges of the feet. So that nice little bone that's poking out by the pinky toe, just behind it, all the way to the outside edge of the heel. Don't use your toes as directions. Line up the outer edge of the foot with the outer edge of the mat. Awesome. And then same thing again. Hips are squared, pelvis is neutral. That means my pubis bone and my front hip bones by the top of my pants are stacked and level with the front wall. Relax the front ribs and now bend the front knee. Awesome. So here we go again. Exhale, back knee bends. You may feel like that back leg is turning a totally different direction than what it is. Inhale, lengthen it back up. So that's a great aha moment to go, oh wow, my tissues really do something that they're not supposed to be doing normally. So again, we're going to go for that minute. Exhale when you bend, hold for about 3 counts, and then inhale, re-lengthen. Got about a half a minute. Make sure the knee, when you bend, is going straight forward. So depending on how you walk, how you use those lower leg muscles, sometimes the knee may try to track in or out. So guide it where you want it to go. You're going to hold this next one here. So exhale, bend and hold. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the nose. Inhale, lengthen the legs, step back. And then bring yourself all the way to the back of the mat. Awesome, nice bend in the knees. Let's wave the body up. So inhale, bend and extend, glide the hips forward. Shoot your arms up and back. Exhale, bend the knees dramatically. Fall towards the floor and let your legs re-lengthen up again. So standing forward bend. Inhale through the nose. Play with where your body weight sits on your feet. Are you backing your heels? If so, try to bring your body weight forward a little bit more. So just noticing the interaction of the backs of the legs when you change where you sit your body weight. It's always interesting. It's like, how does paying more attention in a yoga class translate into being more mindful in life? So whatever's going on, whatever you're engaging in. It's bringing your mind to a point of attention. Giving it purpose, giving it direction. Now inhale, look out across your mat and walk your hands out into plank. Step your feet all the way together, fingertips nice and wide, folds of the elbows forward. Now slide your upper back down your spine if you need to, knees around the floor. Inhale through the nose, hug your legs together. Exhale through the nose, front hip bones tip up into the belly. So try not to let your navel line sag towards the floor. Your lower back is only going to start screaming about that. Inhale through the nose, neck is long. Exhale through the nose. Now find your breath. Right now, the only thing that matters is that you're focusing on breathing. Inhale, walk your hands back towards your feet, so reverse it. Come back into forward fold. Again, soft bend in the knees to help let the spine drape just a little bit more. Take your hands back behind the head. Draw the chin into the chest. Keep that gentle drawing in. Bend your knees even more now and roll it up until you're standing in that neck stretch. Inhale through the nose. Press the head down with the hands. Resist the head back up into the hands. And then if your body's saying, hey, feel free, slight turn of the head to the right or left, and you may find that new line of stretch that's going, wow, okay, this is what I need. Fill your lungs with breath. Keep inhaling, keep exhaling. Release the hands down, open your mouth, and tip the head up through neutral, tip the head back, close your mouth, push the bottom jaw up and forward. Now as you push the bottom jaw up and forward, try moving the jaw right to left. Ever seen the Mask movie where Jim Carrey kind of moves his mouth side to side? So it's kind of like that. Really try to think about getting into all of those scaling muscles that come up and in and attach at the jaw. Those tiny little spiderweb muscles. And now slowly lift the head back up to center. Bend your knees, inhale, extension, hips way forward. Arms extend up and back. Exhale, drop it down, standing forward bend. Take a moment for yourself. Bend and straighten the legs a few times. Allow the hamstrings to get acclimated to some new length here. Rather than just hanging in your back and hoping gravity does something for you, lead your body where you want it to go. Inhale, look out across your mat. Exhale, walk it back out into plank. Every single time you lift your one hand and bring it to the opposite, you're shifting that body weight. Slide your shoulders back, folds of the elbows forward. Press away from the floor as you push down into all 10 knuckles on every single hand. So that means your weight has to be far enough forward that you can feel pressure down into the floor there, not just on the heel of the hand. Now do yourself a favor and close your eyes, and as you keep your weight there, I want you to extend the crown of your head just a little bit more forward, not your chin, your actual crown. And as you do that, push back through your heels. But imagine trying to keep your head on the wall in front of you. This is called internal length. Whether you're on your knees or you're on your feet, press away from the floor without hinging at the hips. Inhale through the nose. You're good. You got this. That might press against you. You're going to resist back. Yeah. Don't lift your head. One more breath. Inhale, walk yourself back towards your feet, standing forward bend. Feet line up, outer edges of the feet with the outer edges of the mat. Spread your toes. Again, give a little bend to the knees. Shake out the head and neck. Maybe shake it yes, shake it no. This is an opportunity for you to be in your body. It doesn't mean that it's going to be an easy opportunity to take, but the opportunity is there. Bend your knees. Take your hands behind your head. Roll yourself up. Chin is at the chest. Move back into that neck stretch. That subtle rotation is just fine. Calm breathing. Now release the hands from the head. Bring the head up to center. Find your clavicles, so that's those bones right in front that are floating. Well, they're not floating, but they're floating in your body. And you're going to find those bones, and then just pull on top of the bones. You're going to pull your skin to try to hold below the bones. So you're trying to make this really tense and taut. So you're going to get some tension there, some good tension. Open your mouth. And now keeping that tension as strongly as you can with your mouth open, tip your head back. Once your head tips back, trying to keep that tension, move the bottom jaw up towards the ceiling. Again, you can move it right to left, but try to hold that tension. It's going to slide a little bit because that skin is so thin, but you're going to try to increase that tension load just a little bit. Slowly release your hands, head back to center. Bend your knees, inhale, gentle extension. Exhale, standing forward bend. Release out the head and neck, shake out the head. Lean forward again, get your weight off your heels. Breathe. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, walk it out into plank. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Press away from the floor. Vibrantly build strength. Hug the legs together. Now remember that internal length. I'm trying to touch the crown of the head to the wall in front of me. Maybe even the back side of the crown of the head. And as I do that, as I try to push my head forward, I'm going to try to push my heels to the wall behind me. It's like this tug of war. Who's going to win? Now wherever you are, drop your knees straight down to the floor. Your body doesn't move other than your knees. Keep the folds of the elbows forward. Uncurl your toes. 10 times protraction, retraction. Keep the elbows long. They're not going to bend. Inhale, sink into your shoulder blades. They pinch above the spine. Exhale, press away. So inhale, sink. It looks like you're going for a push-up. And then exhale, press. You're only going to be able to go as far as the limitations within the shoulder and shoulder blade allow you to. So this is a strength building exercise as much as it's a mobility building exercise. So not easy. Keep the front belly nice and strong. Maybe you're going to go an inch down. Maybe you need to slide into tabletop as an alternative, and that's fine. But keep the elbows long. Maybe even watch your arms for a second and go, okay, arms, are you trying to do something that I don't want you to do? This is what I call the prerequisite for a push-up, or for a burpee, or for a chaturanga. You want to build upper body strength? Here's your number one move. One more. All right, curl the toes under. Plank, pause 3, you got this. 2, 1, walk your hands back, standing forward then. Relax the head, shake out the head, release out the shoulders. Bend your knees, roll yourself up, gentle extension. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. So stay where you are, I'll just face you. I want you to drop the left ear to the shoulder, reach out through the heel of the right hand. So I'm pushing down, like someone's taking my shoulder and physically pushing it to the floor. Take your free hand and bring it to the side of the head, and now open the side of the neck. As you do that, subtle changes with the head, turning it right, turning it left, as you try to find those areas that might be just a little bit more restricted. Same thing with the floating hand. If I turn my fingertips to point backwards and pull my hand back, up or down, in or out, does that change the sensation? I want you to meet head-on a sensation that's almost too much just enough. That's breathable but forces you to stay alert. Release the hand, roll the chin to the chest. Pick the head back up at center. Let's do the same thing on the opposite side. Drop the head, reach out through the heel of the hand. So I'm physically pushing my palm down as I'm trying to pull my fingertips up. And then opposite hand to the side of the head. Gentle weight and pressure. It doesn't take much here. You may notice this moves all the way up into the temple by the eye. You may notice this gets all the way up into the ear, into the jaw. Tension travels. Let's reroute that road. Breathe. And then hands down, chin rolls to the chest. Hands grab hold at that clavicle line while your chin is at your chest. So pull down, open your mouth, tip the head back. Close the mouth once the head's back, and then feel free, move the chin side to side. Really exaggerate. If you choose to move the chin, you don't have to. Really exaggerate how far you can push it to the right and how far you can push it to the left. So you can get into what's called the mandible and maxilla. It's basically the jaw joint. Those two bones meeting. See if you can really get into that tension there. And then release the hands, gently tip the head back up. Inhale, arms rise up, gently glide the hips forward. Exhale, drop back down, standing forward bend. Shake out the head, line up the feet, move into your breathing. Exhale, drop down, low heel squat. So bend the knees, wiggle your sit bones free, so kind of move your booty a little bit. And as you sit back into your heel weight, imagine doing this on a ledge or off a step. So we're trying to hang the heels down, but we're not necessarily sitting onto our heels. Once again, reach the arms forward, drop the head down. Inhale, try to breathe along your spine as though you were putting water into one of those accordion hoses that you can buy at Walgreens, and the water starts on one end and all of a sudden it comes to life. Use your breath to make your spine come to life. So slowly breathe more and more air into the body as it goes all the way down to the tailbone. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, walk it out into plank. Fingertips wide, folds of the elbows forward. Try to find that length again. The crown of my head is pushing forward. My shoulders are sliding back. My heels are pushing back. As I push away from the floor, the front body tries to draw up into the back body. There is nothing easy about this pose, but that doesn't mean that it's not doable. It's not breathable. All right, listen carefully. Drop your knees straight down, uncurl the toes. Fold the elbows forward. Try to keep your palms in place. Slowly start to sit back towards your heels, devotional. but try to keep that length. The last about inch to inch and a half, you're going to notice you really have to move slow or your body's just going to kind of come with. So nice deep breath in here. Go for some real length. Exhale through the nose. Inhale, walk your hands to the right. Press your hips off your left heel to the left, side stretch. Exaggerate your left arm, reaching even more. That's the outside arm. As you open up and breathe into the left side body. Take a couple breaths here. Notice how that first layer may take a breath or two, but then after that, there's a lot more layers. We can ask ourselves in every single pose, am I having an experience? Am I alert? Am I aware? Am I offering my body something that is different, something that it may need, something maybe you didn't know it needed? Inhale, come through center, and now again, hips move off the right heel, and you're going to slide your body to the left. Really exaggerate that outside arm, reaching even more continuously. Relax the shoulders so there's space for the neck. Inhale through the nose. Every breath is abundant, so you can try to break up that really tight fascia. Imagine walking around with someone having wrapped saran wrap around your whole body, and you're trying to function. Many of us try to function that way. This is about undoing that saran wrap. Inhale, come back to center, walk your hands back to center. Exhale, slide it up into tabletop. Curl the toes under plank. Slide the shoulders back again, fold the elbows forward. Lean more into your fingertips. So if your wrists are feeling a lot of tension, are you all the way back with only the weight on the wrist? Lean a little forward. For some of us, that tension or that tightness is because the palm and the wrist are so tight and so locked. So now we're trying to create some stretch there. Press away from the floor. Let's go 4. You got this. 3. The mind will usually give up 1 or 2 breaths before the body does. 2. And 1. Walk it back, standing forward now. Release the neck, soften the shoulders. Bend your knees, inhale, roll it up. Chin is at the chest. Draw your hands behind the head, back into that neck stretch. Relax the shoulders down, standing tall, chin to chest. Play with that gentle rotation of moving the head to the right or left. And then keep the chin at the chest, hands to your sides. Inhale, roll the head up to the right. I'll do the same as you. Right hand to the right side of the head. Reach out and flex through the left palm. There's that side of the neck stretch. See if we can get a lot of those nooks and crannies today. Inhale through the nose. Again, if I turn my head very mindfully, if I move my arm front or back, up or down, does that change where I need the space? Imagine me standing behind you and taking my hand on your left shoulder and pushing it down. That's the free shoulder. Drop your shoulder. Release your hands, chin rolls to the chest. Roll your head up to the opposite side. Flex the palm, push the hand and shoulder to the floor. Opposite comes around, gently clasp the side of the head. And on an exhalation, slowly start to move into that space. You may feel the tension even in your forehead, which is a pretty good sign if you're someone that gets headaches. They're what we call tension headaches. And I'm talking about a muscular tension headache. Those are easily resolvable. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Hands down to your sides, exhale, chin to the chest. All right, grab hold by the clavicles, pull down, open your mouth, tip it back. Look for where that tension is and breathe into that space. Close your eyes, soften your shoulders down. The head back down slowly, arms to your sides. Roll the head back upright, bend your knees, inhale, gentle extension. Exhale, down to forward bend. Again, shake out the head, let it acclimate. Inhale, look out, walk yourself forward plank. From your plank, drop it to a tabletop or drop it to a modified plank. Modified plank, your knees go straight down. Tabletop, your knees come in and go down. Fold to the elbows forward, back into protraction, retraction. Inhale, sink, elbows stay long. Exhale, press. So your torso is moving up and down, all at the gauge of your shoulder. So there's range of motion here, and there's stability. There's strength. Inhale, sink only as far as that tension will let you, and then exhale, press away. Awesome. It doesn't have to be big. It's your own range that your body's offering you today. Inhale, sink, and exhale, press. 5 more. You got this. Keep the belly strong. 2 more to stay with your breathing. Remember, the mind gives up before the body does, but in that, you remember you're always honoring the body. All right, stay on your knees. Slowly slide back. Keep your pelvis balancing that glass of water. Sit back towards your heels. Stretch through the underarm. Relax the shoulders back. Take a breath or 2 here. Actually enjoy the space. Inhale, walk the arms to the right, press your hips to the left. As you press to the left, exaggerate the reach of that outside arm. Imagine trying to sit onto the floor at your left, but you just can't quite get there. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Now as you breathe, play with where your shoulders are. Are they square with the floor, or is the left shoulder peeking open? If you try to square your chest down, does that change the stretch in the lower back? I always think about like a long sleeve dance leotard. So we're really stretching along the whole side seam of that leotard. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Inhale, float through center. You got this. Move your hips to the right so you're coming off your right heel with your sit bone. Reach to the left and then work your breath into that side seam. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. As you move into the stretch, again, play with the shoulders. If you square them more towards the floor, typically there'll be a little bit more of a stretch. Awesome. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, walk to center. Exhale, breathe. Inhale, walk yourself back to the right. We're just going to be here briefly. And as you're at your right side, press your hips to the left. Now walk your right arm all the way until it's at 3 o'clock. So kind of right in line with the hip. Inhale, roll yourself open so that your left arm comes up above the left ear, and now you're in a side bend, an upright side bend. Keep pressing your hips to the left as you reach your top arm over your head to the right. Use your bottom hand on the floor to actually kind of push you. So you're pressing your yourself to the left with that bottom arm, sinking your hips to the left as you keep that side seam stretch all the way up and to the fingertips. Nice. So it's not about the floor. Your focus is actually getting your hip more to the left than getting you to the right. Does that make sense? Now inhale, reach really intensely through the top arm. Reach forward as far as you can go. Circle yourself back into devotional. Pause. Inhale, start to work your way over to the left. Press your hips to the right. Remember, the hips are really exaggerating. Walk your left hand to 9 o'clock, and then start to roll your torso open, like I can see whatever is written on the front of your shirt. Top arm lays across the ear, the best possible scenario. Reach the arm away as you press your bottom palm. So I'm using my bottom hand again to push away as I gently side bend. It's probably not going to feel like a big side bend because that side body's so tight, and that's okay. So just go as far as you can. Keep breathing. Inhale, reach as much as you can with the top arm. Roll yourself towards devotional. Keep reaching as you roll. Both arms extend. Pause here. Inhale, rise up into tabletop. Roll the toes under, plank position. Slide your shoulders back, folds of the elbows forward. As you try to rotate the folds of the elbows forward, what you might notice is the palm tries to kind of come up off the mat. So that's in the wrist, that's happening in the wrist. So I want you to push down through the pointer finger and thumb line as much as you can as you try to turn the folds of the elbows forward. Basically what you're trying to do is build strength in the wrist where you're weak and lengthen where you're short. All right, exhale, walk it back, standing forward bend. You might be seeing a theme here now. Bend your knees, roll yourself up, gentle extension. Exhale, bring your hands to heart. Step your feet together. Bend your right knee, so your right knee is going to be bent, your left leg's going to stay long, so if I face you, right knee bent, left leg long. Extend your left arm all the way up alongside the ear, so the inside of the arm, that's the side that doesn't really get a suntan, that's going to face your head, palms facing in. Nice deep breath in here. Move the hips to the left as you reach the top arm to the right. Now lower your bottom arm into your deep cargo pocket. Top arm can bend, you can even hold the head if necessary, bottom ear, or keep reaching that top arm. If I play with how my shoulders are sitting, I'm going to play with where that stretch goes into the hip. So pretty deep side stretch here. Nice deep breath in, nice deep breath out. Inhale, come back up to center. Now bottom palm comes up, palms touch. Lower that arm down. Bend your left knee. Slide your hips to the right. So inhale. Exhale, relax your shoulders. So top arm is going to keep reaching. You can let it dangle with a bent elbow. You can bend the elbow and grab the bottom side of the head and use the head kind of like an anchor. But no matter where you go, you got to be able to breathe. Too much is too much, not enough is not enough. Find somewhere in between. Inhale, come back up, palms touch overhead. Exhale, bend your knees, hands come through prayer, drop it down, standing forward bend. Inhale through the nose, and exhale through the nose. Inhale, look out across your mat. Exhale, walk it out into plank. Stay with me here. Drop your knees to the floor, straight down, or slide them into tabletop. We got one more round here, protraction, retraction. Folds of the elbows stay forward. Inhale, sink. Exhale, press. Inhale, sink. Exhale, press. Good news is you've released the head from the shoulder girdle, so you should have more range of motion than you would if you wouldn't have done that. So inhale, sink. We're trying to get into all those little atrophied muscles that never do anything because the big bulky ones go, oh, you don't have to. And that's usually why something like this is feeling hard, because we're trying to use the muscles that never get used. So inhale when you sink, elbows stay long. Exhale when you press. 4 more. You got this. Use your breath. Focus on your breathing. I don't care if you move super slow. 1 more. Nice job. All right, folds of the elbows stay forward. Let's slowly slide back, sitting on the heels. Lots of length here. Keep your palms glued. Stay committed to the cause. Breathe. Inhale, walk the arms to the right. Slide your hips to the left. Open up the side seam of the body. Inhale, walk your right arm a little bit more to 3 o'clock. Roll your left arm up and alongside the ear. Keep pressing your hips to the left. Inhale through the nose. Relax the shoulders. Exhale through the nose. So a big deal of how I feel that congestion on the side of my hip, kind of like a gear, is how much I open or don't open my chest. Now, one is not more wrong or right, but I really want you to play with, if my top shoulder is caving forward, there's probably a lot of tension in that gear of the hip. So if I try to open my shoulders a little bit more, that might change the tension. So again, it has to be breathable, it has to be tolerable, but know that just because your body goes somewhere doesn't mean it belongs there. Keep reaching through the top arm. You're trying to grab for a rope. Square your shoulders down as you circle back to devotional. Inhale, walk yourself over to the left. Press your hips to the right. Once you're there, take a breath, stretch. And feel free, you can stay wherever it is you need to. Walk your left arm to about 9 o'clock. And then start to peel yourself open. Keep pressing your hips to the right. Relax the shoulders down, but bring some pressure into that bottom palm. Again, if I change how my shoulders sit, does that change to maybe a little bit more where it's like, oh yeah, that's where I'm always feeling achy, or that's where that muscle felt like it was pulled. Breathe. This is when body awareness becomes your alignment. Breathe. Feel the belly draw in even more. Reach the top arm even more. On your next exhale, keep reaching with all the intensity that you have and circle yourself back down to devotional. Pause, take a moment, let the lower back kind of situate itself. Inhale, rise up into tabletop. Curl the toes under, plank position. Reach back through the heels as you slide your shoulders back. Open your hand as wide as it can go. Standing forward bend, walk it back. Inhale, look out across your mat, walk it back into plank. And then once in your plank position, either one of two things, drop your knees or pick your hips up and step your right foot forward. So you can stay facing whatever direction you are, it won't matter. Drop the back knee to the floor, uncurl your toes. So my front knee is on top of my ankle. My knee is not forward of the ankle. Inhale, roll yourself up so that you're stacked. And then take your hands to your hips. So you'll probably see my shirt probably will help today. We want to try to level out the pelvis as much as we can. The best way we can do that is use the leg kind of like a crank. And I'm going to turn my thigh down, which jacks up the lower hip. So it may not be more comfortable, but we're trying to, again, get into those tighter, more restricted areas. Walk your front foot a hair more forward of its knee. Plant the foot down. Try not to let the foot curl. Keep the front leg, hamstring underneath, rather than up and up to the side. Here we go. Exhale. Front core is strong. Let's slowly come into deep lunge. So as I come into lunge, I'm trying to direct the stretch at my groin. The tighter my groin, the more I'm going to feel this all the way down to my knee. So just recognize that. Inhale, bend and extend your right arm to the sky. Or sorry, your left arm. And then slowly extend the opposite. So we have palms face in. Push into your front foot forcefully. Keep the hips squared forward. Now hug the inner thighs. As you hug the inner thighs, keep your belly to yourself. And very subtly think about leaning back like a 1/4 of an inch. And now everyone's upright. Inhale through the nose. You got it. Exhale through the nose. And now if I push on your arms, you're going to resist me. So bring some strength in. Yeah, there you go. Go straight forward. Nice deep breath in. Really fill your lungs with air. Exhale, bring your hands to prayer. Now listen carefully because some of you are facing away from me, but you're still going to do this. Nice deep breath in here. Turn towards the back leg. So you're going to open your body and look towards your back big toe. See if you can find it. As you do that, think about the front knee pulling wide. Inhale through the nose. Front belly is strong. Try not to fall into your lower back. Push into your front foot. Let's go 4, 3, 2, 1. Return. Hands to the floor. Curl the back toes under. Lift the knee. Step back. Plank. Inhale through the nose. Spread the hand. Find your breathing. Exhale. Standing forward bend. Walk it back. Bend and straighten the legs a few times. Find your body's new length. All right, bend the knees really deeply. Inhale, roll yourself up. Gentle extension, let the hips come forward. Exhale, bring your hands to heart. Step the feet together. Bend off your right knee. I'm going to do the same as you. Extend your left arm up to the ceiling. Lower your right arm down. So the knee that's bent, that's the arm that's in the cargo pocket, okay? Nice deep breath in here. Slide your hips to the left as you reach to the right. So now that top arm can keep reaching, but for some of us, and sometimes it's just the side that we need that, let the top arm bend, or grab for the bottom side of the head with the hand. Sometimes that can help us deal with tension in the shoulders better too. If your shoulders feel so restricted, your upper body doesn't know what to do, go for that grab, because that can usually help you move into the hip a little bit better. So let your hips slide to the left. You're trying to hit the easy button. Inhale through the nose. You got this. Exhale through the nose. Inhale, come back up. Bottom palm comes up. Palms touch. Exhale, lower the left arm down. Relax the shoulder. Bend your left knee. Slide your hips to the right. Inhale. Let's find that stretch. So now this side, completely forget what you felt on the other side. We typically use our body during the day in a very asymmetrical way. So this side may have something totally different going on. No matter where you go, you have to be able to breathe though. Inhale, come back up, both palms reach up. Exhale, hands to prayer, bend the knees, fall into standing forward. Inhale through the nose, widen your feet to about hips distance. Exhale, low heel squat. Bend your knees, lift your heels, wiggle your sit bones down. Let the knees widen again, make room for the chest as you reach the arms forward and sit the hips back. So think about, again, doing this off the curve of a street, and you let your heel hang down to stretch the back of the ankle, or you do this off a step. We're trying to do the same thing, except we're also compressing on the hamstrings. So nice deep breath in, nice deep breath out. Now inhale, slide the hands back in, lift the head, come up to the very tippy toes, or the balls of the feet, slide your knees together again. Walk your hands back. If you need to, feel free to grab a block. Otherwise, let's try to come up into tiptoe balance. So I could be using a block at my side if necessary. Otherwise, my hands are going to come to the heart. Now, a little secret tip for balance. If your hands are at your heart, press your palms together. You're going to create a little bit better balance, and your core is going to turn on a little bit more. Inhale through the nose, and exhale through the nose. Now, if you really want to test the waters on balance, find a focal point. Zero in on your focal point so diligently, so clearly, and then try to close your eyes, but keep looking at that point. Press your palms. Open the eyes. Drop your hands. Walk it out into plank. Try to keep your knees off the floor. Breathe. Look for the length. Heels to crown. Press away from the floor. Back body is super broad. Either drop the knees or lift your hips up. Step your left foot forward. Drop the back knee to the floor and curl the toes. Feel free to pad the knee if necessary. Bring it up off the mat. Hands to your hips. So again, I'm bringing my left hand onto my left thigh. I'm physically pulling on the muscle, because what that's going to do, if my forearm here is my thigh bone, I'm turning the bone, okay? Because this is so tight through here for many of us, and kind of underworked here, the bone twists when we're in a lunge. So then when we're coming into the lunge, the body's kind of collapsing on itself. So what we're trying to do is turn that thigh bone so that the top of the bone is actually pointing up again. So that's what we're trying to do here. And then a little secret tip that I like to do, sorry, you gotta look at me from behind here, and take my hand underneath my glute, and as I roll my thigh down, I'm actually going to grab under my glute muscle because it's such a good place to hold on, and you're going to lift the hip up, trying to make the pelvis more level. Now square your hips forward, front belly is strong. As you push into your front foot, start to lower yourself forward. So you're trying to keep your pelvis in place so you stretch the right things. Front belly is strong. Any negative tension or pressure or sensation in the lower back, the hips aren't squared forward. So that right outer hip probably needs to come more forward. Once you feel like, okay, this is about probably where I can go, pushing firmly into your front foot, lift one arm at a time, and come into deep lunge. Now imagine that your hands, maybe even your thumbs, are attached with strings down into that right hip fold. So the more you reach your arms, drop your shoulders, the more you're going to get that stretch through the groin. So the upper body is kind of now the leader for what the lower body does. And if my arms aren't lifted and they're at cactus or they're at the heart, I'm going to use the crown of my head for that action. So long story short, don't just hang out there. Continue to make space, continue to reach up, continue to relax down. Breathe. Exhale, palms to prayer. We're opening towards the back leg. Inhale, look for the back big toe. Turn as far as you can comfortably. Now envision in your head that front leg. Imagine the knee opening wide. Inhale through the nose. And exhale, press your palms. You got this. Inhale back to center, hands to the floor. Curl the back toes under, lift the knee, plank. Breathe, slide your shoulders back. Knees to the floor, uncurl the toes, keep your hands in place. Balance the water glass on your back as you slowly sit back. Devotional. Try to pay attention to all those little fibers at the very end. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhale, come back up. Shoulders over wrists. Now widen your knees as wide as you can comfortably. So you're going to really go kind of for the exaggeration, maybe even off your mat. Nice deep breath in here. Exhale, slowly sit back towards your heels. So the torso literally drapes down to the floor. You can adjust your hands as need be, chin or forehead to the mat. Inhale through the nose. Now wiggle your hips side to side. See if you can nestle a little bit further back. And then exhale, let your lungs drop, let your chest drop, let your belly drop, let your body drop. Inhale, lift the head and slide your hands in. As you slide your hands in, so we're not going to be on the hard floor very long, but I want you to inhale, come up to a kneeling position. Slide your knees as wide as you can comfortably off the floor. Like I said, we're not going to be here very long, so at least in this position. Now, once your knees are really wide or fairly wide, you're going to start to come forward until you're on the inside of the knee. So when I mean inside of the knee, I mean the inside of the knee here, okay? Not on the front. So as you come to the inside of the knee, toes are probably touching, lower yourself down like a push-up. And now you're resting more on like the inside line of the leg. So toes can touch or feet can pull open. If you're feeling like, oh, this is still really hard on my knees, feel free to turn the other way and feet face on the mat. Forehead can rest on the hands. If you're kind of in this awkward place between not quite at the floor, but not high enough to be upright, a block to the belly can really help as well. So feel free to place a block at the abdomen, and that may also give you some relief here, because I want you to be able to kind of relax the body down. If you're feeling like, I feel like I'm just not quite where I probably need to be as far as my hip stretch goes, it feels too easy, just say, hey. So if you come up, come up off your heels. So come up off your heels so you're kneeling. And now open your knees as wide as you can up off the mat. And slide this way. Yep. And now come forward. So walk your hands forward. Nope, you're not going to sit back. You're going to move physically forward. So come up off your heels and physically come forward. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. Keep bringing your whole body forward. Don't sit back. Don't sit back. Keep coming, keep coming. Everything's open up. You got it. You got it. You got it. Now you're going to keep coming forward. Keep coming forward, keep coming forward, keep coming forward. There we go. So now if you want to, slide the block here. And now rest your belly down. Does that kind of feel now more in the inner hip? Okay.
It hurts my knees, especially like the one you did.
Like there we go. Yeah, you probably see tension out of the kidneys. I'm going to try to go for maybe about 30 more seconds. So inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. If you've ever seen or made a rubber band ball before, the pelvis is kind of like that. The rubber bands kind of become tense on each other, and that's how they hold themselves together. And our pelvis can often become like that. This kind of pulled inward, tight rubber band ball. Except the hips aren't meant to just go in. They're meant to also open up. So now using your hands for help, almost like a push-up, press yourself up off the floor. And as you start to sit back, let your knees kind of slide together. As your knees slide together, we're going to right away turn the feet off to the side. And I want you to slowly make your way onto your back so your hips can kind of have that relief in a position that we're going to stay in. So try to have as minimal movement as possible. Legs come out to each corner of the mat. Slowly lower yourself back and allow the feet to roll open. Now let your hips receive that space. Let your arms open up. Wiggle the shoulders so that they can really drop themselves in comfortably. Nice deep breath in through the nose. And exhale fully and completely. Breathe out through the mouth. Ah. So Kathy this morning is going to take us through a nice guided relaxation. So at this point, I just want you to open yourself up and receive the vibration of the gong. You don't need to do anything when it comes to gong except just be open. The vibration is meant to move deep into the body, and it's often thought of as kind of helping and aiding in a healing crisis into an area in the body that we wouldn't otherwise be able to get into. And so just open and receive.
circulation back into the body. Give you rotation of the wrists and ankles, moving the lymphatic fluid. And now taking your first two fingers, taking them right between the center line of your eyebrows. A little bit of pressure and just move those fingers out across the upper brow line. Just smoothing any last tension out. Then slide those two fingers down the jawline, right to the tip of the chin. Move the fingers up alongside of the mouth, all the way up on either side of the sinuses, to in between the eyes, and then slide them back down. Take them to the jawline, back toward the earlobe, around the back of the ear, and then taking the thumb and the pointer finger to the top of the ear, just pull the ear up, tapping into the spine. Release, take the pointer finger and thumb to just the outside of the ear, pull it wide and out. And then take the pointer finger and the thumb to the earlobe, pull it down. Slide your two fingers down the neck. And now behind where the hairline meets the neck, just massage the back of the neck. The mouth, the divine, the universal consciousness. And then slide the two fingers down the neck and release them off. Inhale here. Deeply retain the breath and exhale it all out. One more time. Inhale deeply. Retain the breath and exhale it all out. Lift your fingers and your arms up and your legs to the ceiling. Shake your legs and arms out. Just creating that energy movement again. And then when you're ready, hug your knees into the chest. Give yourself self-love. Hug yourself. Roll hip to hip. Opening the water chakra, Svadhisthana, the sunrise energy. When you're ready, and roll to your right side. Breathing in the particles of the sun. And push yourself up to seated position. Hands come in at prayer mudra. Let the chin melt to the chest, honoring your vessel, your temple, and completing the circle of grace. And from my heart to your soul, and your soul to my heart, may we leave this mat and take our practice with a smile on our face. Namaste.
Namaste.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you.